Welcome to another episode of the Red Arrow Health and Wellness Podcast. I am your host, Marco, with my lovely co-host,
Jessica.
How's it going, Jessica?
It's going well for
You're
the
not
most
as
part.
enthusiastic as you were last week.
It's been a long week. I'm pretty tired. This is my second week of work, like actual work outside of the house. And getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning is hard, especially when you're a night owl like me and you want to stay up till midnight to do all the things. And then you only get 5 hours of sleep.
This feels like a reversal of the previous week where I was like, ugh, it's been a week and you were all peppy.
Yeah, but also, things have happened. The week was a good week. It's just there were some difficulties at work that hurt. And that's all I can
hurt with the clients.
Yeah, I don't want to go too much into it, but my head hurts a little bit today. That's okay. It's fine.
Be okay?
You know what? I still love my job. I still think it's a wonderful place. I'm really ridiculously happy to be there. And I'm happily going to go back in on Monday morning with a big old smile on my face, ready to do what I do.
As for today, though, what are you drinking to help with that headache?
I am drinking an Irish coffee.
Ooh, a standard Irish coffee, piping hot?
No, it's cold.
Ooh. Makes it even better for the afternoon.
Yeah, it's kind of a rainy, poopy day, so...
Whatever. There's college football this week. It's a little bit rainy. We had chili the other day.
Chili was good.
Oh, yeah. It's starting to get into fall. I love this weather. I love this time of year. I didn't as a kid. I do now. It's just that perfect temperature range. I can wear shorts with a sweatshirt. I can wear jeans with a t-shirt. I can wear shorts and a t-shirt. I can wear long sleeves and long pants. The whole wardrobe's got access to. You're not sweating like crazy. You're not freezing. It's perfect running weather, perfect biking weather. It's just perfect.
Yep.
So I love it.
The sun could come out a little bit more.
Well, yeah, I'm not thrilled that it's raining today, but
I don't mind the rain. It's just it's been pretty gray. Just gray all week long.
We could use the rain. It's been dry.
True. What are you drinking, Marco?
I'm having a Last Feather Rye from Journeyman. Just neat in my little glass. So we got at Upper Hand Brewery when we were up in the UP. So it looks like a teeny tiny little mason jar.
It does. It's cute.
So yes, my little teeny tiny mason jar of rye whiskey.
Awesome.
It's organic.
Ooh,
it's kosher.
That's important.
It's local.
That is even more important.
It's tasty.
Well,
It's not sponsoring us, so
it is not.
Let's move on to something else.
Okay. How'd your week go?
My week was interesting. It was odd. I mean, I settled in for a pretty... You and your noisy straw. I settled in for what I thought was going to be a super productive yet chill week where I'm like, I got this new routine. It's perfect. And then things got a little crazy. The school I coach at decided to reopen the topic of fall sports.
Interesting.
So they had a town hall. I got a notice that, we want all the coaches to attend. I also got a side notice with that as, please do not speak until spoken to. We will call on you. I'm like sitting there texting, going to the parents, going, somebody call on me so I can talk. But it was a interesting virtual town hall with the families. I spent most of the time looking and watching body language of the various people on there. They had a chat window. I closed that so I could just see things popping up, but I didn't keep the whole chat part going. So I had more room to see the body language of the responses of people on mute. Some good arguments by adults, some not as well put together arguments from adults. There's both sides of the argument. But what I was really impressed with was just the passionate pleas for athletics from the kids who got on and spoke.
Yeah.
Now, I'm biased because the only kids who got up and spoke were kids on my team. And kids I've coached for a while. But they got up there, they spoke from the heart, they had well-organized thoughts. They spoke to all the benefits, how this isn't just sports and it isn't just, jocks, basically. It means so much to them in terms of their emotional health, their mental health, their development as young adults, all the different characteristics they're getting out of it. It's not just, yay, we get to go run and not be in class. There's a lot to it. And this is an anxiety release. It's a pressure release. It's building them up, teaching them to be leaders. All these characteristics that they're suddenly not getting It opens doors in terms of some of these kids are being looked at for scholarships. It opens up doors for further education.
Yeah.
And by just arbitrarily shutting it down, while there is always that risk of COVID, it's doing more harm than good because there's not really that much risk being removed from a low-risk sport being canceled.
Right.
There's more risk being introduced by the way they're practicing on their own.
I agree with that.
And there's more risk to their general development and health. So when you weigh risk, cost-benefit analysis here, the kids made a really strong point of, let us have cross-country.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was a bunch of other meetings that went on behind the scenes. Wednesday night, they made an announcement. I was on my way to the ice rink, and all of a sudden, the announcement comes out like, "You've got cross country. It's reopened. Here are the conditions, but it's reopened." So then, of course, parents and kids are emailing me immediately, like, "Do we have practice tomorrow?" So I'm sitting at the ice rink, half dressed in my hockey pads, with my laptop on my lap, while kid one is out on the ice skating with a bunch of girls. She had a girls-only hockey camp that was awesome to watch. So I'm sitting there because I'm waiting to play next, half dressed in my pads, typing up emails going, "Yay, we're back in business. And oh, by the way, Thursday is our first cross-country meet. It's also our first day." So quickly got to, made arrangements to drop off our kids with my parents, ran to the school, filled out paperwork, asked them just the questions I needed immediately. Grabbed the uniforms, had to issue those, and then had to race over to our first meet, coach that. And then Friday was just it was a normal practice, which was nice to have something normal.
Normal's good.
But the meet was impressive for kids who have not had an official practice, for kids who were told on the eve of the season starting, there's no season. So, of course, kids being kids, a lot of them stopped working out.
Yeah.
A lot of the other ones who still kept working out were not really like pushing themselves. It's not like we're contending to go to state. They were doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, suddenly it's now, actually we're looking at this week coming up, and midway through will be the midpoint of the season, and we're just getting going.
Yeah.
So, but they did awesome. We only were able to muster 2 girls and 7 boys to head out there, and it was a co-ed meet where the joint scoring. So top 5 boys score, top 5 girls score, and if you didn't have 5 girls, you got what they call ghost runners. If there were like 65 runners in the race, and you only have 2 girls, your third girl, air quotes, is 66. The next one, the fourth girl, is 67, and so on, and low score wins. So we're missing 3 girls. Mm-hmm. We're getting really just penalized for that. We still came in 3rd place.
Awesome.
And out of the 9 kids total that were there, 6 went home with medals.
That's fantastic.
So it was.
I'm sure they were thrilled.
They were thrilled. They were surprised. It was an awesome night. Boys and girls ran together. So I know I had some kids that really felt defeated because they felt like so many kids and their little popsicle sticks they got had their total place overall. But it was boys and girls together. So I had one young lady who was just defeated by what place she was in. Mm-hmm. Not thinking that was all those boys were ahead of her too, and they didn't count towards her medal because boys and girls medals were separate. And she ended up in the medals, and she was overjoyed, and she should be because she ran well. They all did. I was very happy. I told them we're for the first day of the season. That was amazing. In terms of the conference and how we're shaping up for that, 'cause next week we jump into our first conference meet. We're in really good shape.
Good.
We competed really well against our conference competition, but in terms of the regional meet and state, oh boy, we got a lot of work to do. Because this team heading into this year, and actually for years now, when this group of freshmen got up and the high schoolers still around, including the seniors who are about to graduate, this is one of those magical years where on paper this should be ideal. Now every year has the opportunity to be magical. Mm-hmm. But there's just some years where it's like, the cards are aligned just right. This is one of those years. Another year like this will come along when the current 6th graders are freshmen and the current freshmen are seniors. But until then, it's going to take a lot of work and things have to go our way.
But I think your kids are really motivated.
They're really motivated, so we'll see what happens.
Get back at it.
Friday was really telling because kids can have like one good 5K.
Yeah.
Without much training. Can they walk the next day? or do they look like the Tin Man in need of an oil can?
It's funny.
So when I sent them out for a run, it was interesting to see who had similar times in the practice run as they did in that first meet and who was walking after the first mile.
Yeah.
And it was fun seeing, not totally fun, but it was funny to me, seeing some of the kids who ran 20-minute 5Ks suddenly after the first mile on practice on Friday had to walk. So there's definitely work to do. And of course, you're not into cross country. That's probably a whole big, boring story.
So we're going to talk about cross country more later, but I heard you say something about hockey a few minutes ago.
Oh, yes.
And so kid number 1 had her hockey classes. And
she did. She had goalie camp and she had the girls camp. And this was the last week of camps for fall it's so confusing. Technically, it was the spring session that did not kick off till the end of July. And it was some private rentals. Now, next week, fall clinics start up for real. And that'll be exciting for the kids. And in kid 2, who was very upset that we were doing hockey in summer because he gets summers off. And we always schedule it, let them be kids in the summer and do summer stuff. He's like, why are we going? We're like, well, it's spring hockey. But it's summer. I'm like, I know, but you had the spring off. But it's summer. Did you miss hockey in the spring? Yes. Do you like playing hockey? Yes. Well, let's go play hockey. But it's summer. Well, now
I can't really say that I disagree with him because it is very hard to walk into the freezing ice cold ice rink when it's 95 degrees outside.
I think it feels good.
It feels good for about 10 minutes and then it like permeates your bones and then it doesn't feel good.
I can make it through 2 ice times and flip-flops before then it's like, all right, my toes are numb.
I cannot.
I
last about 20 minutes.
Winter, I've got wool socks on, standing around waiting for the kids. But now we're heading into fall hockey in the fall.
Yes.
And he's cool with that. And we got a few weeks of that, and then we head into winter hockey. Because it's Michigan, and fall doesn't last long.
No, it does not.
And then adult hockey is on the horizon.
Yay.
Had a meeting with the rink owner and my capacity as commissioner. We got the details together. I just need to wait for the sign-up form to be set up online, and we're ready to go. It looks like early October, we're going to kick off adult leagues.
I will be interested to see how your numbers compare this year from last year. I feel like there's going to be a huge spike in the number of people that sign up to play because people have been trapped in their houses forever and haven't had a physical outlet in so long.
I am interested as well, but also because of the economic changes too. What did that do? Major employers in this area have done layoffs. Have we, and then in addition to the layoffs, is people just like, I'm fed up with this kind of work climate and went other places. Mm-hmm. A lot of our adult hockey players are transplants. They're not originally from here because people our age, we were playing on outdoor ponds. We didn't have indoor rinks here. Those employers bring people with more hockey experience at the adult level. It just is too soon to have grown our own through this current hockey program. There's some, they're in their 20s. Youngins, but they don't play in the Sunday night league with me quite often because they're either they're too young and too good.
Yeah. Oh well.
How about you? Did you make it out bike riding this week?
No, I did not.
Did you make it? Did you get your treadmilling in the morning?
No, I did not. I'm actually not sure how to accomplish that because I get up at 5 and I need to have time to have coffee. And if I get on the treadmill, that cuts into my coffee time.
How about a really long straw?
A really long straw? I don't think I should drink coffee while I'm on the treadmill.
A Camelback.
I feel like it could be a mess of epic proportions if you catch my drift.
Oh, that's disgusting. Yes, I catch your drift.
Yeah, so I don't know how to solve this problem, and getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get on the treadmill is never going to happen. So I'm thinking that leaves me with exercising at night, which I hate because I'm really tired when I get home. So I don't know what the solution is. I don't know. We'll
figure this out because also at night, the kids want to see you.
Yeah, I only get like 2 hours with them before they go to bed.
And you don't want to spend an hour there on the treadmill. And if you wait till after they go to bed, then you're going to be up later because all of a sudden your body's like, I'm awake.
Yep. And that's not good because 5 o'clock in the morning comes around fast.
We'll figure something out.
We'll see.
Something's got to give. We'll make it work. But for now, Cheers.
Cheers.
This week, sweetie, what are we talking about?
The topic is living the coach life.
Living with no G?
That's right. Livin'.
Okay. I'll remember that when we have to put the description in.
Yes, it's important to not put the G.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So kind of like hanging with Mr. Cooper?
Yeah.
Living the coach life?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Awesome. Let's roll with it.
Okay. So I have some questions for you. And here they are.
And this is all... We'll try not to overlap too much with, what was it, episode 5, the track episode? We talked a little bit about behavior-based coaching.
Oh, yeah. This shouldn't get too much into it. This is more of like, how do you have time to exercise and coach?
And this is more about me than
it's not really about your procedures and how you came up with your magical program that sucked all the kids into the program and all that good stuff. Okay. So why did you decide to pursue the opportunity to become the coach?
Well, a couple of reasons. One, we had just moved back to Michigan, and we enrolled the kids in the school that I went to growing up, and that my siblings all went to. It was alma mater, and they put out a call. I don't know, we had been here, 4 months, 5 months, something like that. Put out a call and said, hey, track season starts next week. The coach just quit. We need someone to coach track. And so I'm like, well, I've got a flexible schedule. I feel like I need to give back. I owe it a little bit to pay it forward from what I've gotten over the years. I love to teach. I love to work with students. I mean, I started out as a Taekwondo instructor as a kid. I used to be a professor. I've done trainings, and we do this just to share information. So it scratched that itch too. I know track. I felt like I owed something to school. And I wanted the opportunity there to still exist when my kids got to high school. At that point, kid 1 was a kindergartner.
Yeah.
Just a little tiny.
She's so tiny.
Yes. So I said, okay, if you've got somebody who did college track or college cross country, hire them. But I can come in and do this. I know all the events. I'm not in the best shape. But if I were to do it, here's the package I would put in. And I proposed a package. And they turned around and hired me. And been the coach ever since.
Awesome. Is this your primary source of income?
That's hilarious.
Isn't it? But you get that question a lot.
I know. And I know why you're asking.
Or not a question, but people just assume. So I figured we'd throw it in and you can put that to bed.
Yes, because you know the answer to this. First off, anyone who's coaching for the money, especially at the high school level, especially at the Division 4 high school level, and there's only 4 divisions in track and cross country in Michigan. So like the small school, Catholic school level in Michigan, if you're coaching for the money, you're in the wrong line of business. There is absolutely no way we could live off of what I get compensated for my coaching.
No.
Most seasons and most years, we spend more on the program than they reimburse me for.
Yep.
And that includes my compensation. So I do get a small stipend, but we spend way more on that in materials for the program, for transportation, for travel, mostly in materials. Everything just to keep this program up and running. It does get frustrating sometimes when I do have parents who just make the assumption that this is my full-time job and not a passion project, which it is a passion project to keep it going and rebuild this thing. Because when I took it over, like cross country, it was in rough shape. There was one kid the first day. The end of the first season, I had 3 varsity runners, 2 boys and a girl and the girl was mostly playing soccer and actually broke her arm playing soccer and couldn't finish the season.
That's right, she did.
So to build that to where we are now, it's been a big project. I enjoy it. I enjoy sharing what I know about behavior and everything with these kids and getting them ready for college and life and just really embracing running and healthy living. Mm-hmm. But it's certainly not for the money. That said, I'm not going to do it for free. There's the principle of the matter. There needs to be a token amount handed over. Just because, yeah. But it is frustrating when parents think that that's all I do, that they can call day or night, that I'm always on call for the token amount that's passed it along. It is insulting sometimes when I have a parent go, just waste my time or abuse my time and going, well, this is your full time. This is your job. This is all you do. It's like, No, it's not. Or when we had the season paused in track and I had to switch to virtual training for the kids and have parents implying, well, he needs to do X, Y, and Z because he's got nothing going on anymore. It's like, are you kidding me? I do have a full-time job. I do have kids. I do have all this stuff. And this is just it's a fun side project.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. It's also frustrating when they say, well, you only spend X number of hours coaching high school and middle school. You need an elementary program. Well, first off, that's like saying Marco and Jess need to fund a elementary program because the school won't. And we already put in quite a bit of money on the programs to keep them going. We are the boosters for those because it's everywhere. They're usually the forgotten sports.
Yeah.
The kids take off, they go running, they go out in the woods, and they come back. It's not a big stadium sport like football or basketball or baseball.
I mean, it could be if the parents and the families would show up.
It could, but
not this year, but
well, the parents of the kids show up.
No, I meant the other parents.
Oh no, they won't come. So they forget about us a lot, and they don't realize what's going on, and they don't realize that everything going into this, not everything, but the vast majority of what's really built it up to what they all go, well, this is amazing. They still think the school's paying for it and that their tuition dollars are paying for it. It's like, no, you and I are paying for it because this is something we're passionate about. But when you say I have to start a middle or an elementary program where there is no elementary track and cross country in Michigan, it's like you're basically saying we have to spend money to create a daycare for your kid.
No, thank you.
Pocket. It's like, and they don't.
We have our own four
and
kids.
as much as I try to explain that, and I start explaining it, they're like, no, we'll talk about it later. And there's been opportunities where they've actually put me on the spot at school board meetings, where it's like, I was a little bothered last year they did this. Like, oh, come in, we want to honor you and your team. Well, there was no honoring of me and my team. It was all a ruse to bring me in and put me on the spot and have me on the record to say, why won't you start this program? It's like, because it's taken me this long just to rebuild the high school and the middle school programs. The time is not right. There's not an insufficient interest, and you don't have the funding for it.
Yeah.
And I don't have the time for it, and even with my kids in elementary school. But that's a long answer to say, no, this is not my primary source of income.
But speaking of the amount of time that you spend preparing everything, how much time do you spend preparing before the season even starts?
The short answer is a lot. In season, I'm already prepping things for the next season. And that's not just to say like during cross country season, I'm prepping for track, which I am. In season, I'm prepping for the following cross country season. Mm-hmm. We just finished up week 5. I'm already making notes for week 5 next season, and I store those away so it's ready to go. It's a continuous improvement and development and review process all the way through. It ramps up in earnest, really hardcore about a month before the season. But there's planning all along. As soon as cross country ends, it's shift gears and start really planning for track, but at kind of a casual pace. And then a month before track starts, I'll go heavy into it. The reason I do so much planning is that way, when it comes time, I can just execute. It's like setting up dominoes. Mm-hmm. And then when the season starts, you're kicking over that first domino and it's, hold on, we're along for the ride. Yes, I can make adjustments on the fly, but it's much easier to just go. Same thing with the way I plan my season. I have written agendas, and I write them on the weekend of how practice is supposed to run and what we're supposed to do each day. That way I can work and do everything I have to do. And when it's time to go to practice, I open my binder, I open up the agenda page for that day, and it's, ta-da, here's what we're doing. So I'm not just showing up with all the kids staring at me going, Coach, what are we doing today? And I'm like, can I get my brain to switch over to track or cross country right now? It's there, it's written, and we're right at it right away. And we have our most efficient use of time. So I'm not wasting their time. They're not wasting my time. Mm-hmm. And we can go.
Awesome. Can you give us a rough idea of your daily schedule as a coach on any given week?
A daily schedule?
Yeah, like from morning until you go to bed during a week in cross country.
Okay. Well, how about I just give you a meet day versus a non-meet day?
Perfect.
All right. A meet day, and it's going to be a little bit different this year because we've switched up our schedule, but a meet day, since I just had one, I get up in the morning, get the kids out the door to school, and this year I'm driving them to school instead of you. Mm-hmm. Then I come home, and I get to work on my computer or computers depending on what task I'm doing. Sometimes I'm running 4 computers at once. Go through all that. And that's with kid 4 here, occasionally popping her head into my office and out. And she's playing, and she's got a TV on in 1 or 2 rooms, and she's jumping from tablet to tablet, and she'll come in and start running trains over my floor in my office. But that's all going on. We take a break for lunch. Usually after lunch, I hop on the treadmill for a little bit. And then it's finish up some more work and get changed and go get the kids and go to practice, our kids. Wrap up practice, come home, have dinner, and then it's whatever we're doing in the evening, whether that's go to hockey for the kids, go to hockey for me, work on other projects, and then at night I'm doing more work. The weekend is prepping for the weekend, writing all those agendas and setting up what we're going to do. On a meet day, the day runs about the same. I usually have to go into the school a little bit earlier. Then we have the meet, whether it be track or cross country. And then we come home, and then I pour over all the results. And I break it down. Because while we're there, while we might get finish times, I'm recording splits. So if it's track, I've got lap times for each kid. Sometimes I've got half lap times, depending on how crowded it is and if I got a good view. For cross country, I've got the mile splits. And I pour all that together and I throw it into my computers and break that down and look at pace and how everything's going and what are the trends and how's this kid developing and make notes whether I need to adjust their training or not without them even thinking about it. And that pours into what their training regimen will be for the following week. I also look at who's had their season best mile or 2 mile or PR and all that stuff. So I'm up late doing all that. And then I get up the next day and we have our next day of practice. Saturdays, if we have a meet, it's get up super early, go to the school, get the equipment, wait to get on the bus. In years we have buses. This year we don't have buses.
Hooray.
Or the cars, and we take off to the meet. Nice. And there's ones where we go and before sunup, I'm there we have our tent up. I got my feet up. Waiting there
your feet up as a coach.
I have a picture where I went to the Portage Invite, and before sunup, you could just see the first morning rays coming over the horizon. And I'm there, and I've got both tents are up, the tarp is down, I've got my coffee, and my feet are up, and I'm sitting in a chair just waiting for my team to arrive.
That's funny.
And that's kind of what this season's going to be like, too, because for COVID, we can't transport kids together, and we can't have carpooling or anything. I'm just going to go straight to the meets, which is a little bit nice. I don't have to run all the way into town, but I'll be just sitting there waiting with a thermometer, waiting to take forehead temperatures and get ready to coach.
Awesome.
Chilling with my mask on.
How much time would you say that you spend answering emails and phone calls from runners and parents every week?
Too much. It's less the runners, although I do prefer having the email come directly from the runner. Especially at the high school level, you should be at the point where you can communicate with an adult in a professional manner. I don't mind and actually encourage having the parents CC'd on it so they can also see, one, what their kids are communicating with an adult, but also they can help give feedback on the professional communication. That said, if you're a senior in high school and I got to hear from your mommy or daddy going, little Jimmy forgot her shoes, or I guess Jimmy wouldn't be a girl. Little Timmy forgot his shoes, or little Timmy doesn't want to run the hurdles today. Well, Timmy should tell me he doesn't want to run the hurdles. By the way, I don't have any kids on my team named Timmy. They should be able to tell me that. They should communicate with me about that. I'd rather hear it from them than some angry parent. That said, it's usually the parent emails that take longer. And it's usually the parents that are more high-strung about stuff. Less so now, because I'm starting to get a core group who are used to me. They've been around for a long time with me. They know that I'm not going to be bullied. They know that they're not going to dictate how the season's going to run or who's going to be where in the starting box or which event their kid is going to get to do. Because I've even had kids tell you, well, my kid needs to be front left in the starting box in cross country. You're like, your kid's going to go where I tell them to go when I line the kids up, based on how well their performance metrics show they are in the opening run, because I don't want them getting stepped on.
Right.
And I don't want them holding up somebody from behind them.
Would you say that you get more emails from, in general, your 6th grade incomers, your incoming 6th graders? than the other parents, do you think?
The sixth grade parents or the sixth grade? I don't get any emails
The
from
sixth grade
graders.
parents, since they're not used to you and they don't really know what to expect. And I know that like I'm really high strung about my kid going to sixth grade and I don't know anything and it's nerve wracking.
In terms of volume, it's not the most.
Oh.
In terms of original questions, it probably is the most, but at the same time, most, well, so let me say this. They don't have the most questions in terms of volume. Out of the questions they have, most of them I've heard before. I hear it every year. But out of the ones I haven't heard before, they are usually by far the most interesting, creative, out in the fringe in terms of like, okay, you really don't know anything about this sport.
That's funny.
Like, I think my kid will be awesome at the half marathon. Like, your kid's a sixth grader. And first off, high school cross country are 5Ks. And middle school is like 1.5 to 2 miles.
Wow.
Or, my kid wants to be number 27.
Like jersey number?
Yeah. Like, we have inventory numbers on the tags. We don't have jersey numbers. This isn't basketball or football or baseball. I usually get a jersey number question about once every other year.
That's funny. I almost wish you guys had jersey numbers just so I could, I don't know, see.
Request a number just to mess with me?
Maybe, just to see like which kid gets which numbers. I think that would be interesting.
They get whatever I handed them.
I don't really have a good reason for thinking
Even in the adult leagues, I don't let my players pick their numbers. I just go, here, take this.
All right, so this is obviously very time consuming for you. How do you balance work life and extracurriculars while still getting everything done?
I don't sleep. I mean, honestly, that it is. My sleep just disappears because I'm up early, I'm up late, I'm working odd hours. If I don't get all my work done, I've got to work after coaching, and that's just the long and short of it. Now, luckily, it's not a sustained season. All the seasons are relatively short. Cross country is usually 13 weeks from the first official week through the state finals, and then I've got one more week to do cleanup and do the awards banquet. So 14 weeks. Track is usually 12 to 13 weeks, including the awards banquet. And then we've got the summer racing conditioning program over the summer. But that summer program is way more flexible because I don't actually see anybody in person. Yeah. I don't have to be anywhere. And then in the winter, while I'm still doing planning, it's when I have time I do planning and make it work.
Cool.
But it has certainly over the past 6 years, so 6 cross-country seasons, 6 track seasons, 5 summer racing club seasons, you put it all together. And then there were some winters where I went into the school and was working with kids over the winter who wanted to work on discus or hurdles. I mean, it's pretty much been a year-round commitment for 6 years now. So it is quite the lifestyle.
How do you find time to exercise while you're doing all of this? Or when do you exercise when you're doing all of this?
I exercise before or after. Like, there's a lot of people who think, well, you're the track or cross-country coach. You can go running with the kids. And they think, well, that's what you do. You just run with the kids. Like, no, I can't supervise all these kids, and I can't focus on their training if I'm out running with them. And they're at all different paces, so I don't run with the kids. With track, I usually put on weight during the season because there's a lot of standing there and timing kids. Cross country, I lose it because I'm running all over the courses, tracking the mile marker to mile marker, so I can get splits. But I don't really often get to run with them at practice. It's very, very rare. I'm usually leapfrogging in my car because I've got age groups 6th grade through 12th grade. They're all over the place. Now, I do keep them in one part of town on any given day. Mm-hmm. The routes are overlapping with the varsity heading out further and farther and having all these loops, but I still have to bounce around and takes the car. And plus I need it in case if anyone rolls an ankle or gets hurt, I need to be able to load them up and get them back to the school. What am I going to do? Put them on my back and carry them 4 miles? That's not happening.
No.
So I do my running and my workouts. Either my favorite is right after lunch, hop on the treadmill for a minute and go for a run, or it's in the evening, or sometimes it's early in the morning, but I find times to squeeze it in.
Cool.
This week, at the end of the week, though, it all went to hell because it's like, ta-da, you have a season. And here's a whole bunch of new constraints. And, oh, by the way, your first day is also a meet.
Hooray!
Make it happen. Workout went out the window. But I did get some exercise running around the cross-country course.
How would you say that your coaching impacts your family positively?
I think it does on a number of ways. One would be it's an outlet for me for teaching, for data analysis, I do get exercise out of it. And it just makes me calmer while I'm home. And I'm also a little bit less energy, which most people would think that would be a bad thing. But then I'm not like fixating and like, we have problems to fix. We must come up with a program for our child's messy room or something. It's like, all right, well, he's out of the house doing this. Or also I've got it, there is a clause in there that coaches are supposed to, at this school, exhibit a healthy lifestyle. Now, when I was hired and I was almost 300 pounds, I had managed to get under a little bit. Wasn't the healthiest looking person. And we talked, I think on episode 5, about the reactions that some of the parents had to me back then.
I think we've talked about it a couple times.
I think we have too. But, losing weight and the ups and downs, and it's definitely projected a healthier lifestyle and someone who is trying hard and working hard on their health. But because I have to do that, I'm conscious that I am visual representation of the running programs and I need to be skinnier. There's a focus too on I need to go run even when we don't have meets, to be not just in shape to get to those mile markers, but also just to be that image of a healthier person. There is that implied pressure there to do that. Mm-hmm. That makes me in general healthier, which makes me a better dad because I stand a better chance of being around for our kids longer.
That's very important. We have 4 kids. I need you to be around.
Yes. I think it also helps our family because it's showing our kids that anything you set your mind to, you can. And these different skills, and there's opportunities out there. And running's just not a punishment from some other sport. It's a healthy lifestyle. And they see us, not just in coaching, but we go out and we go running and, well, you don't run that much, but biking and swimming and kayaking. And we do the triathlons and kai-tris and everything and aqua bikes. And just trying to project to our kids a healthy lifestyle in general, so that they can not make some of the same mistakes we made, especially in college.
Yes, hopefully they don't do that. That'd be tragic. How would you say that your coaching has impacted your family negatively?
Well, one, it takes me away from the family, especially during track season. Those meets take forever.
They're very long days.
There's been a number of times where my wife has had to jump in and be my assistant coach for track meets, including twice on your birthday.
It's not my favorite. 2
different birthdays where you've had to come coach with me, and a few other birthdays where I was gone on your birthday.
Also not my favorite.
I think we've spent almost every one of our anniversaries for the past few years out coaching cross country, especially at the dunes as they run up. We spend the morning of our anniversary watching high schoolers run up and down a sand dune.
Yep.
Well, you all live with me. And so when I get the angry parents, or I get the crazy requirements coming out of, this or that, or I've got just asinine things that have to do with track or cross country, and I'm completely frustrated, you're all the ones that have to deal with me.
Indeed.
And I'm not just talking about like current COVID stuff. Over the years, it's been like, you have to do this. Well, like that's totally counterproductive to what we're trying to accomplish here. Or we got the parent who's like screaming that my kid must get a scholarship to a Big Ten college. It's like, are you kidding me? We're Division 4 in Michigan, and your kid's a freshman and they've run in 1 meet. And somehow in their next race, they're going to get you want them to have the offer letter coming in for the Big Ten. Not happening. Just not happening yet. Give it time and trust me. We'll get them there. Sometimes they trust me. Sometimes they don't. And, or the ones who are like, when I get frustrated when it's 11:30 at night and I got a parent calling me or texting me, or 5:30 in the morning and they're texting me, and I'm, what little sleep I do get, I'm just getting harassed nonstop. Well, then, okay, dad's getting even less sleep and he's got a shorter fuse, and it's just, I mean, you might just verbally snap at somebody and just go, enough, stop, quiet. It's not always fair to the kids. And I realize that. And I apologize to them, but it's not fair to you too, as you shoot me a look across the microphone.
It's not.
I know. But it's just like anywhere else. It is in that respect, it is a job and it's a commitment I've made, and it's frustrating. And when you're sleep deprived, you're not going to have as much patience.
Yeah.
And it's rough on everyone around you. Now, luckily, as the years have gone on, I think it's gotten better. Although this year is really just a hot mess because it seems like every 5 minutes, who knows, it's going to be a good news email, it's going to be a bad news email, and it's hard to predict what's coming in. And oh, it's tough.
How much of a mental toll is taken on you when you have to deal with school politics or angry parents?
A lot. It's hard not to take it personally because when you put so much of yourself into a program, so much into developing the kids, so much into just making it the best it can be, and try to make this something that it's a selling point for the school. This is something unique. It's, lots of schools have track and cross country, but track and cross country programs like this, how many programs have a PhD running their program for them? So something that's really amazing, something that's the kids will look back on fondly and go, that was great. I love that. For whatever reason, why. And we've talked about how I put all these different reasons and that would make them want to keep doing it, whether it's competition or the fun runs or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to not take it personally when someone attacks your program or attacks your sport, who knows nothing about it, who you're having the conversations going, have you ever gone for a run? Have you ever been to a 5K, even the community one? Have you ever gone to a cross-country meet? I mean, we went through this in the town hall where people were just all upset about their concerns with cross-country. And it's like, well, first off, I know for a fact in the last 6 years, you've never been to a single one of our meets. Second, what you're describing is the Boston Marathon with the number of people, not a Division IV conference meet for a small school where there's maybe 35 runners in the race. It's frustrating. It's really hard not to take it personally. And then also knowing, having worked with these kids and seeing how far they've come and how excited they've gotten and how they developed and their confidence is growing and everything. And then someone does something, they either go after the kids specifically or go after their sport. In the most recent example, it's hard not to be protective of those kids. Mm-hmm. While they're not our children, they're on my team. And I want the best for them, and I'm protective of them. They are my athletes, and I want to stand up for them. So it's hard, and it does take a big mental toll.
How do you deal with all of that negative energy? How do you get it out?
Usually run, or go play hockey. Hockey especially. I go shoot pucks in the garage, go kayaking, occasionally sit and make cocktails with you.
I do enjoy that.
Being honest. Not going to lie. We let's make some cocktails and go sit on the deck.
Yep.
Let's go podcast. But trying more for healthier outlets. Back in the day, that kind of level of frustration would have led to, I'm going to sit here and eat a bag of Oreos. Not doing that.
That's good.
But it's turned into, I'm going to get on the treadmill. I'm going to shoot hockey pucks, go play hockey. I usually feel better after I play a hockey game, partly because I'm very exhausted. Mm-hmm. Or I'm going to go ride my bike. I did that earlier when this whole ups and downs of this season started going on. I'm like, you know what? I've had enough. I'm going to go ride my bike 30 or 40 miles.
Awesome. What are some of your favorite parts of every season?
It's really the little things. It's not what you would think, like it's picking up trophies or stuff. It's not that stuff. It's watching a kid who's been working all season suddenly having that breakthrough PR and having just an amazing race. It's going out to meals with the team and the parents and everything after a meet. I used to have this one parent who would always bring me coffee right before the meet. She'd bring me a cup of coffee. And that just made me smile every time. I would look forward to this mom showing up with a cup of coffee for me because I never asked for it, but she would be there, and it made me happy. It's hanging out. There's a few other coaches that I'm really gotten to become good friends with. I like hanging out at the mile markers, waiting for in that anticipation of whose runner's going to get here first, and then we know the Packer runners are coming. They should be coming around the corner any minute. So there's that anticipation, but then we're sitting there, we're talking about athletics and sports or whatever, current topics. But also knowing that we have this herd of runners coming around the corner at some point and cheering. And then it's interesting because we're cheering on our own runners and we want to beat each other's teams so badly. But we're also we'll commonly find us cheering for the other guy's runner. Especially if we don't have a runner near them, we will cheer for their runner.
That is my favorite part about going to cross country meets.
And we'll do the same thing in track. It's those little things, and I miss it. I just like being around the team. Now, giving instruction on running form or strategy for different courses is entertaining, and for me, I think there's just the warm fuzzies in there and watching it grow. But seeing it happen, seeing them take what I've presented and put it to use and apply, and going, that's something they didn't know or they never had displayed. That they could do beforehand, and suddenly now they're doing it. It's all that stuff.
Cool.
That's the stuff I like.
What do you dread the most about every season?
The required mandatory training, the hours of trainings and certifications or research and continuing education you got to do.
Can you give me like a ballpark of how many hours that is? More than 20?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It depends on the year, and because some of the certifications and whatnot are 2-year certs, and so they go rotations. Last year, before cross country, it was in the 45 to 55 hours went into getting all the required trainings and protocols and certifications ready to go.
That's a week of a full-time job.
Yeah, it was. And then people are like, "Oh, it's no big deal. You just show up and run your mouth and point and tell kids to run." I'm like, that is not what goes into this.
Oh my.
Now this year it was a lot less because I didn't have to do as many research on stuff. And then of course the season got shut down. I do have some ones I have to do this weekend because they're like, you need to do this immediately. I'm like, I'm not even under contract and I don't even know if we're going to have a season. So why am I spending several hours on this bloodborne pathogen and concussion training protocol I got to do?
Awesome.
I can't be around kids. Well, now I'm around the kids, so it's like, all right, I got to get this knocked out.
So you don't let your recertification education classes sit and pile up, do you?
No.
No, you like to knock them out?
At the beginning of the season.
What happens if you let them pile up and don't do them?
Well, it depends on which ones they are. Some you're not allowed to work at the school. Some of them I have to do in order for my team because I'm a head varsity coach. We aren't qualified for the postseason tournament if I don't do it. So we have to do those for us to even be able to enter. And, of course, everyone will be mad at me if they're having an amazing season and we can't go to regionals and state. There's because I coach at a Catholic school, the Catholic required training ones that we have to do every month.
What if you just decide you don't want to do them because they're boring?
Are you talking about the Virtus stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for the Catholic education one, which is essentially like don't touch the kids, with the monthly updates, if you get behind by 3, it's grounds for termination.
Really? Just 3?
Yeah.
That's a very tiny amount.
It's a very tiny
They'll
amount.
fire you over 3?
Yeah.
Interesting.
They'll threaten you. Last year, we were told that one of the coaches was let go because he got to 5. And whoop, he had missed 5. He was out.
Okay, so those are super serious.
Those are serious. But things like you have to be CPR certified. You have to finish rules meetings and health meetings through the state. Otherwise, you cannot compete.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's stuff you have to do. And I hate those.
It's early yet, but how is the 2020 season different than other seasons?
It's early, but it's not. We're about to hit the midpoint of the season, and we just started a couple days ago. This, I think we mentioned before, though, this season has a higher level of expectation because we've got some talented runners who have really developed over the years. So usually the pressure on the season is, can the kids have fun? Can you keep the parents happy? And can you show that most of the kids developed and improved over the course of the start of the season to the end? And over time in their careers, the majority of the kids are also continuing to improve. Cool. I can do that. This season's a little bit different because I've got 2 kids on the team who went to state last year, and the expectation is they're going to go back.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an expectation with this new group of freshmen coming in that are talented that I'll get the entire team there or get some of them there as well. So there is a higher expectation. Now, it's not unreasonable, I think. I think we stand a shot, but we'll see how it goes. It's not going to be easy. It is added pressure in the fact that we lost several weeks because we were put on hiatus because the school decided they didn't want to participate in sports, and it is what it is. But that's where we're at right now, and I guess it makes for a great story. I could write a book. We could make a movie about it. Forget McFarland. We'll have whatever we want to call this one, Southwest Michigan.
Who would play you? I don't know. I'll have to think about that.
You know what the kids told me yesterday? One of them told me.
What?
They're like, you look like Shrek.
Oh,
I'm like,
what?
I'm sorry, because my ears are poking out with my mask was pulling on. I'm like,
you
no.
have Shrek ears.
They decided that in Shrek 2, when he takes the potion and turns into a human, that I look like Shrek. Like, okay.
I don't love your runners anymore.
Well, which is better because they agreed with one of the runners from another school who decided that the coach from a third school looks like the giraffe from Madagascar. They've nicknamed that guy Millman.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Well, the runner from the other school named him Millman, and so now the kids on my team are like, yeah, Millman from School X. And I'm like, please never say that in front of him. That'll be incredibly embarrassing
horrible
to me. Yes. But
did you tell them that you can't possibly look like Shrek because you already look like Kevin from the Wonder Years?
They don't know what the Wonder Years are.
That's unfortunate, and you should tell them to get Hulu, and then they can watch it.
Sure.
And be filled with wonder.
I get 2 hours with these kids. I got to do the best I can, and most of that they spend running.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah.
What are the biggest goals that you're hoping to achieve this season?
To continue to have a season.
Right.
To not get shut down.
Something other than that, though.
Because there are plenty of parents in the school community and even some students who don't want us to have a season. They don't want us in action. Based on a survey, the majority of the faculty, the vast majority of the faculty, do not want us to have a season. They didn't want us to restart, and they don't want us to continue. So my goal for the season is just to have a season, to make it to the end without getting shut down.
Okay, let's say that you do make it to the end. What are you hoping to have achieved this year?
Honestly, big picture, I'm hoping that they had fun, they continue on it, and they don't get to the point where like, I'm never doing that again. Dream scenario?
Yeah.
Get my boys and girls teams as a group to state.
That'd be awesome.
And that would be, I'd be on cloud nine.
That would be like
to
the
go
pinnacle.
to the point where we didn't have enough boys to score as a team and enough girls to score as a team, to like last year where the boys and girls both scored as teams at regionals, but no one qualified. I mean, no one qualified as a team. I took 3 runners individually. Mm-hmm. That if we could get to this year and take the boys team and the girls team, and we have work to do because we were short on girls at the moment, that would be an absolute dream.
Awesome.
And then whatever they do at state, who cares? Have fun.
The point is just to go, right?
Be a qualifier. Yeah.
What's the biggest thing that you're hoping to avoid this season? Obviously, shutting down is the biggest thing, but other than COVID.
The Rona.
Yeah. Definitely avoid getting the Rona and avoid getting shut down. But besides the Rona, what are you hoping to avoid?
I want to avoid injury to myself or the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I want to avoid just burnout in terms of the kids or me. Because let's face it, the ups and downs, the frustrations, and then with all that's going on, and there's strong opinions coming out and strong arguments, and sometimes weak but very loud arguments. It's hurtful. It's painful. It's even through this whole process where they're coming out, well, you don't understand. You're just a coach. It's like, well, I'm an academic first and foremost. I'm a PhD. I've been in school. I'm not a jock, but I happen to be the coach. And the fact that I'm fighting hard for on the side of academics is hurtful. And when it's coming from people that we considered friends and who are the parents of our kids' friends, you add all these multiple layers and it starts getting hurtful, and things that are being thrown out there, people don't realize how hurtful they are, or folks where their family was in need and I rallied my team to show up to help with fundraisers for them, and suddenly they're vocally against my team and trying to shut it down. It's like, well, wait a minute. Nobody else in the school community came to your aid when you needed it except for us, and now you're very vocally against us. So, I would like to get through this season without any more insult, injury to anyone, to us, to them. Could we just be civil and just make it to November?
Where do you see your future in coaching going? Do you think you'll still be doing this next year? Do you think you'll quit?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. When I started this, the big line was I wanted this to be these teams, these track and cross country teams, to be an option for my kids when they got old enough. Well, now my kid 1 is finally old enough to get on to the middle school cross country team, and we just pulled them out of the school, as we've discussed on other podcasts. So it doesn't look like this is going to be an option for our kids, at least in the near future. Maybe it will down the road. I don't know. I'm still working with kid 1 on running. She still has her goal of being able to run a 5K without walking by the end of what would be the cross country season, so November. So we're going to keep working on that. I told kid 1 I wouldn't coach against her, and she's not running cross country at her new school, so I'm not coaching against her. But I also know that this season and the infighting going on at the school and just the way I'm being treated in general, I've decided that I'm just going to take it one season at a time. And apparently that's mutual too, because they only presented me with one contract this year because they're not super confident that it'll be winter season or a spring season. So, and they don't want to be on the hook to have to pay coaches to do nothing like they did last spring. So, although I wasn't doing nothing, but a lot of the other ones were. So I just want to get to the end of the season and we'll see. That's in terms of coaching this team. In terms of beyond this season and this team, if you look through my career, I'm always doing something in terms of instruction and coaching, whether it's performance coaching in a business or athletic coaching or training. There's always something going on. We've got Red Arrow Health and Wellness. We've got this podcast. There's consulting work, helping out and coaching hockey. Somewhere it's always going to be a part of me. I mean, I was teaching Taekwondo when I was 8. It's not going away. It's something I always do. Will I always be the track and cross country coach at this school? I don't know. Probably not. I love it. It's a team. I feel a lot of ownership for it because I helped rebuild this thing and get this where it is and get these kids excited about it. Now that our kids are gone, a lot of the parents thought, well, as soon as we pulled our kids, I was also quitting. And I'm like, I can't bail on these kids, especially during COVID.
Right.
And it's also my alma mater. But how much longer I'll hang around there, I don't know. It does depend a lot how I'm treated.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this thinking passive aggressively they'll hear the podcast and suck up to me, but it's like, I don't know. The high school parents that I work with now are dream parents to work with. They are so nice and bending over backwards, and they realize they're happy to have me there. I'm happy to have them there. They do a lot to help me. It's great. We'll see how the middle school goes. Some parents on the middle school squad are dream parents to work with also, and other ones are not quite hadn't had enough training of parents in terms of being parents on one of my teams. So we'll see how that goes. And there's also just the added toll of, my kids aren't there. So I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I just want to focus on this season with this team in terms of coaching cross country. We'll deal with track. A few weeks after we finish cross country and I get past that first lull of exhaustion, I'll either sign on for track if they have track, or that'll be the time I resign quietly after the awards banquet and everything, and I can collect my thoughts. And if I do track, I'll do the same thing. When we get the end of track, I'll decide whether I'm continuing on or I'm resigning. But I will be doing something in terms of training and coaching probably my entire life.
Awesome. That's all the questions I have for you.
Is it?
It is.
What about you? How do you feel about me coaching in the coach life?
I didn't know we were doing this.
And all my coaching T-shirts and stuff, and my coaching shoes and my coaching bags and all my coaching materials in the garage.
I do love the coaching t-shirts. I especially love that mine say Mrs. Coach's wife on the back of them. I think that is super fun and ridiculously sweet.
Yes.
I think it's my favorite nickname I've ever been given in my whole life. I like that you coach, especially cross country. I really like the way that your cross country team works, and I absolutely love all of the athletes that are on your team. They are dreamy. It
is taking a while to get to this point where it's like, this year I'm looking at it going, this is a dream roster.
Yeah.
There's none.
And it's not because they're all amazing athletes. It's nice that they're great. I don't love them because of that. I love them because they are wonderful little people.
Well, it's that too, but there's also like every season there seems like even when you have a dream set of kids, you get like the one parent that's like, please don't let them show up to the meet today. And this season for that high school squad, the parents are all awesome. The kids are all awesome. And it's like, and that was part of the frustration when things got shut down. I'm like, I've been waiting for years for this situation where I've got a high school team where it's perfect.
Yep.
Middle school, it's not 100%, but it's still a pretty cool group.
Yeah, definitely.
And part of that is just middle school. It's those 3 years. You got 3 years to shape the parents so that they become the dream parents.
Yeah.
And it's so overall, it's a good middle school group. We'll see how it goes because the COVID thing is it's like an X factor that's screwing with everything.
Sure. I like that it gives you an outlet to do something fun that you usually enjoy every day.
Gets
I like
me out of the house.
that you leave the house for a time period, although this year I'm not even in the same city as you while you're actually coaching. I'm not in the same state either, but still, I do like that you have that to look forward to every day. It's nice because you get really excited about the things that you're doing with your teams or your meets or whatever. But I don't love the amount of time that you spend on it. You spend hours and hours every single day from the fall to the next fall doing it. Like even in the summer, there are hours and hours spent in front of the computer poring over your syllabus or poring over your data or stats on all of the runners in all of Berrien County.
Or the state. Like earlier this morning, I was pulling stats from runners from across the state.
Like it would be nice if we did not have to have cross-country practice on our anniversary, or if I did not have to coach on my birthday for track. And I will tell you right now, I absolutely refuse to coach next year on my birthday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or how much now do you enjoy, because you've been for cross country, you donate your time and you do team photos, because they have the official team photos, which we call the team mugshots that they do in the cafeteria or the elementary gym against a wall, which don't capture the majesty of the beautiful Southwest Michigan. So you've donated your time and done photos that you then give free copies, digital copies to all the runners on the varsity. And we've done that every year that I've coached. How do you feel about that? Because that's a lot of labor. And as the team has grown, it's even more labor that you would otherwise be charging for. How do you feel about all that work that goes into it every year?
I mean, I love photography. Being behind my camera is my absolute favorite thing to do on the planet. Any time of day, any time of the year. So I'm always happy to take pictures. But
in fact, one year you were taking photos of my runners. You were standing out in a cold lake in October, and you were pregnant. Very pregnant.
But I'm always in the lake in October.
Yeah, you're not always very pregnant.
No, thank goodness for that. That would suck. No, I'm happy to do it. Now, I will say that it does take a lot of time because there's, I don't know, somewhere between 9 and 15 runners on your team any given year, right? Except for that first year.
Except for the first year, yeah.
So it is a big time commitment for me because that's a lot of pictures because we're doing individual pictures as well as team photo pictures. And it's a lot of culling, it's a lot of editing, so it's a lot of time spent in front of my computer. I do like that I'm able to give back to the school, that I really do love the school. I think it could be absolutely amazing. So I am happy to give back to the school. And I really am happy to give the runners a little memento of their years on the cross country team. I think that it's a special thing. And I think that it also helps to suck in some of the people that participate on your team. I have heard from at least one of your former runners say that was the main reason she continued doing cross country, was because she wanted the photos.
Hey, and I've heard from other ones that the main reason they do it is because of the fun runs. Or, I mean, it's very few of them who are there because they desperately want to race and be fast. I mean, there are a few. It's usually the top runners in terms of speed. But then the other ones are there because we like the friends, or we like the food, or we like the photos, or we like the fun runs, or like whatever. At least you're here, and now we have enough for a team.
Yeah. But with the photos, I do get humongous thrill when I find out that their parents or they themselves are posting their pictures to Facebook or Instagram or to TikTok or whatever. I think that is really, really, really fun for me, because that tells me that they love their photos enough that they wanted to share it with like the world.
Yeah.
And that's super great. Are
we
right
doing
there.
Photos this year?
I just don't know. It's trickier this year because I'm working full time, and usually our photo shoots take place around sunset, and sunset in the fall here happens earlier and earlier, just like everywhere else. And I don't get home until like 6 o'clock at night.
Cool. Sunrise photos it is.
Also tricky since I have to get up early. Then on the weekends, I really like sleeping in.
Well, we'll do it on weekends because a lot of our Saturday meets got canceled. So now all these Saturdays are open that aren't usually open.
I'm not sure you heard me where I said I like
I
to
did.
sleep.
I'm just ignoring you.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Probably yes, but we'll see. I haven't fully decided. So.
Well, coaching is pretty much a lifestyle for me in addition to everything else. So I have a feeling we will be updating on this. We will be speaking about it more because it's ingrained in the fibers of what our family does and what we do, at least for now. At least coaching cross country and everything. And then when this is done, we get back to helping out with hockey. Let's not forget when Kid 1 and Kid 2 were on a team together last year, and their head coach asked me to be the assistant coach. And for the last game, we're like, we need to do something special for these kids. And he's like, we should wear suits. I'm like, well, what kind of suit? Hilarious suits.
Hilarious. They were hilarious.
What we can find on Amazon. Oh, yeah. So he's got his suit with toucans all over it, and I've got mine covered in pineapples.
Pineapples.
Yeah. Had no idea, like, all the many, many different meanings of pineapples until one of the women I play hockey with, like, pointed that out.
I did not know about pineapples either.
I thought it was the hospitality fruit that's popular in, like, South Carolina.
I just figured it was a tropical fruit.
They're tasty.
The pineapple's on the state flag.
Yeah, it's tasty on pizza.
No, it's not. It's an abomination on pizza.
And those would be the two opinions out there. There's no middle ground.
That's right, there's not.
But apparently it means something else in adult communities that I had no idea about. Otherwise, I wouldn't have worn it to a youth hockey game. But
same.
Don't care. And it was hilarious. Those kids did not forget because my kids didn't know I was doing it. The other coach's kid didn't know he's doing it.
Yeah, you guys brought your suits in like suit
Garment
travel
bags.
and it was very funny.
We went to like the restrooms or different locker rooms. Then we appear in our kids' locker room in our suits with matching ties that match the suits.
So funny. You should put that picture up so everybody can see it.
I think it's already on our Instagram. But the coaches and the other teams who were there with their little embroidered jackets for their team were like laughing so hard, like, you guys are awesome. Like, we know you guys kicked our butts, but at least we look awesome. So, yeah. All right, sweetie. Anything else you want to talk about with coaching?
No.
Living the coach life? Well, then cheers one more time, and let's get into a few other things.
Okay.
Before we go, we need to update all our virtual races. And we have a lot of virtual races going on. We have a few days left of the Forget Me Not 5K and 10K, which is online and is completely free. Go to our Instagram or our webpage. You can find the links there. In Instagram, it's the links right in the bio. We also have the month-long for the month of September, the Selfie Scavenger Hunt. That's also free, and it's based off of Instagram. So tag us. Be sure you're tagging us in your photos as you upload them to Instagram so we can find them and score them because there will be a winner at the end. Coming up in a few days, I will be posting the link in the form for the Sapphire Team rally. Yeah, that's a 5K one. And then we've got more stuff coming up in October. And of course, we have our year-round continuous competition, the Red Arrow Challenge, which has weekly champions. It has cumulative totals. You can compete in each individual category. You can compete with the composite points. And then we, of course, give the weekly champions in each category some kudos. And that's what we're going to do right now. Again, all of these are free. You can find them on our website, raxhw.org, or go to our Instagram account. Our handle is Red Arrow HW, and we get the link right there in the bio. But for the Red Arrow Challenge,
swimming
for this most recent week, 9 and under and 10 to 19, nobody went swimming. But 20 to 29 was Gator Boy, 30 to 39 Wildcat, 40 to 49 Jesse's Girl, 50 to 59 AR Miller, 60 to 69 Kilogram Ill, 70 to 79 Grandma May, and the featured members, we didn't get in our pool.
We did not. It's too cold and it's too poopy outside. Running.
9 and under, Easy E, 10 to 19, Soleil, 20 to 29, H. Kaner 305, 30 to 39, The Logan, 40 to 49, Coach T, 50 to 59, Johnny B. Good. And for the featured members, it was me.
Shocking. Walking.
9 and under, Yellow Ninja, 10 to 19, Lucky Dude, 20 to 29, Smitha, 30 to 39, Mrs. Coach, 40 to 49, Vino Mia, 50 to 59, Johnny B. Good, 60 to 69, Kilogram Ill, 70 to 79, Grandma May. And for the featured members, it was you.
Ooh. Biking on-road.
Not a lot of biking going on right now. Of course, we're like school's back in session, so that explains why the kids were not on bikes. 20 to 29, Gator Boy. 30 to 39, Cyclopath. 40 to 49, Coach T. And for the featured members, we tied because we went together.
Yeah, we did. That was fun. Biking off-road.
Like biking on road, not a lot of this, but 20 to 29 was a tie between Smitha and Super Mario, and 40 to 49, Cyclone.
Sit down paddling.
40 to 49, Sarah 906 and Tim 906. 50 to 59, AR Miller, and 70 to 79, Grandpa Bob.
Stand up paddling.
20 to 29, Gator Boy. 40 to 49, Sarah 906 and Tim 906 tied. And 60 to 69, Kilogram Ill.
Cross-country skiing.
It was the usual too. 40 to 49 was El Tiburon 95, and 50 to 59 was Big Juan 64.
Skating.
Nobody went skating, or at least nobody reported skating.
Hockey.
So happy still to see hockey going on, and it should be picking up more as more and more rinks open. 9 and under, Yellow Ninja. 10 to 19, Soleil. 20 to 29, Lexi. 30 to 39, Wildcat. 40 to 49, Coach T. And for our featured members, it was me, because you didn't go play hockey.
I don't. Points.
9 and under, Yellow Ninja. 10 to 19, Soleil. 20 to 29, Gator Boy. 30 to 39, Wildcat. 40 to 49, Coach T. 50 to 59, Johnny B. Good. 60 to 69, Kilogram Ill. 70 to 79, Grandma May. And for our featured members, 'twas me. So that is the Red Arrow Challenge champions for this week. Go online, create a username if you haven't already. Start recording your distances, and at the end of the week, put them in online, and maybe you will be on top. And in the meantime, if that's not your cup of tea, well, then we've got the Forget-Me-Not 5K and 10K. We've got the Sapphire Team Rally coming up. And we've got this selfie scavenger hunt. All those are out there, all free. Enjoy. But for now, that's been fun. But I got a dinner to go cook for the kids.
Yeah, you do.
They've been looking forward to it. It's one of those rare chances where we're actually recording and they're still awake.
Yeah, usually they're in bed.
Usually. But for now, it's been fun.
Loads of fun.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.